Broadcasting System presents Telephone Time.
Telephone Time with Dr. Frank Baxter.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Have you two ever had the strange experience of going into a room new to you, with a sudden feeling that you'd been there before, and that you recognize every bit of furniture, every picture? This is a familiar experience, so common that it has a name, déjà vu. It's one of the curious things that happen to people for which there's no very easy explanation, and there are many such things. Now, this strange story that we're about to tell you was first written down by a distinguished American of the 19th century, Robert Dale Owen. He was a writer, a political thinker, a congressman, and served as United States minister abroad. And other people have recounted this story too. It took place on the bark Vestris. Robert Norwich, master, 16 days out of Plymouth, England, bound west across the Atlantic for Boston in the spring of the year 1828. This is the way the tale runs, and we call it the Vestris.
Across the raging main, I walk to my love with a passing love 10,000 miles away. Loading with my hoe, a-roaming I will go. I'll stay no more on England's shore, so let the music play. I'm off for the morning train, across the raging main. I'm off to my love with a boxing glove 10,000 miles away.
Morning, Mrs. Norris. It's nice to see you on deck again. Are you feeling better, my dear? I was just saying to the captain how lucky the weather has been for your first voyage. It is not often we get it as good as this, ma'am. We're going to plot our position, Mary. Come and see how much closer you are to those cousins of yours in Boston.
It is a happy ship you're on, ma'am, and 'tis no wonder, with such fine sailing as we've had.
That's where we are, and very good, too. Come over here, Mary. Come on, lass. That's our position. Don't you think we've come a long way in 16 days?
There's still a long way to go.
Yes, indeed, ma'am. But at the rate we've been going, it won't be long before we get there. 8 bells already. Excuse me, ma'am.
I'll leave the course for the next watch, and I'll be ready for my dinner. 49 days, 9 degrees, 37 minutes north latitude, 35 degrees, 13 minutes, 20 seconds west longitude. Come 3 points south. There. Now I'm ready for my dinner. I'm famished. Oh, Mary, many's the time I've wished you on board my ship with me. And here you are at last. You brought good luck with you, lass. Never have I known such winds. What is it, Mary?
'Tis nothing.
It's foolish to say it's nothing. Is it some pain you have?
I tell you, 'tis nothing.
You didn't eat your dinner again tonight. For days you haven't eaten enough to keep a bird alive. It's not like you to be like this, Mary.
Like what?
The days I haven't seen you smile. You seem lost in some melancholy world of your own. Are you sure you're not sickening for something?
Would I not say so if I were?
And if it's not a pain in your body, it must be a pain in your mind. You're hiding something from me. You've never done that before, Mary. Is it the sea?
I hate it.
It does affect people that way sometimes, till they get used to it. The monotony of seeing nothing but water.
No, it's not that. It's something deep down. Cruelty.
Oh, come now. There's no more cruelty in the sea than there is in the land, with its storms and its fires. I'll tell you something about the sea lass. When she takes life, she does so a lot more mercifully than does the land.
It's the voices that come from it.
Voices?
Day after day. Even in my dreams, I hear them.
Saying what?
I don't know. I don't know. They seem to threaten me with something.
Ah, you're being fanciful.
That's what I tried to tell myself. They grow louder every hour, as if the threat were coming nearer. It's cold in here. Where's my shawl?
The sea's getting on your nerves. It did on mine. It'll pass.
I must have left it in the chart room this morning.
You talk about getting your sea legs. Getting your sea mind's much more difficult sometimes. What's going on here, Mr. Lloyd?
I heard her cry out, sir, and came in and found her like this.
All right, Mary. You're all right now, lass. What happened, Mary?
Someone was in here.
Who? Who was in here?
A man. A stranger.
All right, back to work. Must have been your fancy, man. There's nobody there.
All right, Mary. You're all right now. Come on. Come with me.
Get out of here.
Tall and thin.
But there was no one there.
He wore a jacket with a hood over his head. And when he turned and looked at me, his face was like that of death. His eyes were full of suffering. He tried to say something to me.
'Twas but your fancy, lass. Come now. Take a sip more of this.
I saw him as plainly as I see you. Why would I lie to you?
Who's there?
Mr. Lloyd, sir.
Oh, come in, Mr. Lloyd. Help me persuade my wife that there was no one in the chart room.
Why do you keep saying there was no one there when I say I saw him? He was writing on that slate. Is there nothing on it? Well, is there writing on it? Steer northwest. Steer northwest. This is not your handwriting, Robert.
No.
Is it yours, Mr. Lloyd?
No, ma'am, it is not.
Or one of the men's?
One of the men who write like that, why, most of them can't write at all, ma'am.
Are you so sure now that it was just my fancy?
If there was someone in there, he must have slipped out before you got to Mrs. Norwich.
A stowaway, sir? I'll soon find out.
Aye. Come now, my dear. You take a rest. We'll get to the bottom of this. Come on. Keep your voice low, Mr. Lloyd. She's sleeping.
I searched every nook and cranny in the ship, sir, and there's not a trace of anyone.
Did you question the men about the writing?
I even made those who can write the words. But nobody knows anything about it, and I'm sure they're speaking the truth.
Mr. Lloyd, before I ask you for your solemn word that you did not write this, I will give you mine that I did not do so.
As the good Lord is my witness, sir, I did not do that writing.
And either there was a stowaway aboard, and he slipped out before you got there and jumped overboard. But what sense does that make?
But nobody can stay hidden on this ship for 16 days without leaving a trace.
Or else my wife, in her disturbed state of mind. But if she did, it's the first time she's ever written in this hand.
I had the same thought too, sir. But why should she write that? Even she knows that to steer northwest is to take us out of the line of shipping and into the ice floes.
Aye, there's no sense in that either.
Well, what's to be done now, sir?
What else but wait till the truth of the matter comes out. I'll keep this here.
Aye, aye, sir. There's another one in the chart room.
Yes. 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 Yes, I hear you. Yes. Steer northwest.
This is your wife. You're lucky, pal. You married more than just a pretty gal. Why, day in, day out, she's the family cook, the maid, chauffeur, hostess, nurse. All of them her. And when she's dressed up for an evening out, doesn't she look worth shouting about? How does she do it day after day? Well, she plans your life the modern way, by telephone. Helpful, handsome, handy telephones. Right at her fingertips. Right at her side. A telephone on her kitchen wall. She can decide and order, cook, and call. A phone in the nursery, the bedroom, the den. She saves herself trips again and again. Rush steps, slow steps. Handy phones mean no steps. Friends to meet? When? Trains to meet? Where? Using her phones, give her time to spare. New phones, wall phones, bright phones, all phones help ease her way through the busiest day. No wonder she's so wonderful. She uses her telephones to help plan your life. Taken all in all, she's quite a gal, your wife.
16 days fair weather, sir, so I suppose we can't complain.
Close in far too quickly for my liking. I warrant you've never seen fog close in that fast.
True enough, sir.
Wished. You hear that?
Something is moving there. Who is it? Who the blazes are you?
Robert!
What on earth? Mary, what are you doing here? You'll catch your death of cold.
I had to come to ask you
Ask me what?
if you changed course to northwest.
What nonsense is this? Come on, back to your bed this minute. You must have taken leave of your senses. You're acting like a child, leaving your warm bed to go into the cold air.
Robert, you haven't answered me. Have you changed course?
What did I tell you? You're shivering. Here, swallow this down.
Robert!
Swallow this down at once. Oh, darling, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak harshly. Here, come and sit down. I didn't know you were in pain.
No, it's not the pain, Robert. I saw him again. That man.
Where? In here?
In my dreams. He kept saying over and over, steer northwest.
It was only a dream.
Look on his face, like a soul in torment. And his voice. Oh, Robert, you must do as he says. You must, Robert, you must.
Your hands are burning. There's a fever in your eyes.
Robert, there's more to this than just a dream.
I tell you, it's nothing but the fever in you.
And I tell you that if I have a fever, it is because of this, not because I'm sick. Is there nothing I can say to make you believe me?
What can I do to make you see sense? I'm warning you, Mary. There's no doctor aboard here to help if you should fall really ill. And that's what you'll do if you don't throw off this wild fancy and look after yourself.
And I'm warning you, Robert. If you do not obey the writing on that slate, you'll bring sorrow to all of us.
Do you know what would happen if I did that? I'd be taking this ship and every soul aboard her into the mortal danger of the ice floes that come south at this time of year. Do you expect me to do that just because my wife sees things that aren't there and has dreams?
Robert, I saw that man. I have heard a voice, and you have seen the writing. There's something at work here. Some power beyond my understanding. I don't know what it is. But I do know more surely than I've ever known anything in my life before. That if we do not obey, we will pay for it in bitter sorrow.
Mary, put yourself in my place. I can't do it. It would be unreasonable.
You don't understand, Robert. You don't understand. I can do no more. It's in your hands now.
How's Mrs. Norris, sir?
It could be the intestinal fever she's sickening for. The pain in her side, I've seen it before. She's half crazed with that writing. I don't know what to do with her.
Aye, it's been on my mind too, sir. And it's strange, this fog coming down out of a clear sky like this, like a sign.
You mean to say you think there's something in this?
Well, now, sir, they do say that us Welsh do feel things. Superstition, they call it. But the trouble is, the people who talk like that, they don't explain. Like where that writing came from, for instance. This fog, too. Have you noticed now how the wind has veered around to the southeast, sir?
Mr. Lloyd, are you trying to advise me to change my course to the northwest?
Oh, no, sir, that's for you to decide. But I was thinking that if we ran northwest before this wind, well, just for a bit, of course, we might clear this fog.
Might help her to calm down and see sense. It does nothing else. Very well, Mr. Lloyd. Get your sails trimmed. Aye, aye, sir.
I say it ain't right. We got to do something about it. Here, mate, come here. We're headed too far north, and that's not bad enough. Having a woman aboard's bad luck. We ought to go talk to the captain about it and do something about it right now. You know what we want. Get back on course. This ship ain't headed for Boston. Get back for where you belong.
What is it, Mr. Lloyd?
You know what it is. They came up here before I could stop them. We got our rights.
Right. All right, men. As soon as I get my wife over this attack, I'll turn the ship around. Now get back to what you were doing. Look lively now.
Come on where you belong.
How is she, sir? Mortal sick. I don't know what the end of this is going to be.
Right ho! 3 points off starboard bow!
Now there'll be no handling the men.
I told you having a woman aboard would bring us nothing but bad luck.
Man, it can't be true.
That's what you get for being so far north.
It's an ice floe, sir. And the less it's seeing things I am, there's people on it.
You're right. There are 3 of them. Mr. Lloyd, bring her round. Aye, aye, sir. 2 of you get ready to lower a boat.
Here! We're saved! They've seen us! We're saved! We're saved! Here, wake up! Wake up! We're saved! They've seen us! Look! Ahoy! Ahoy! Put it in. Get it in.
Hold her back now. Bring her up close to the ship.
Come on, lad.
First one up.
Yeah, give us a hand here, mate.
Up with him. Take it easy.
All right, we got you, chap. We got you.
Take it easy now.
Easy.
Keep the
Lay him down there on the deck.
Up with him.
All right, sir.
All right, sir.
Two of them are all right, sir.
All right, lad. Take these men below. Get some grog from the galley, one of you.
Aye, aye, sir.
Stand by to bring up the longbow.
We'll soon have you fixed up. What was the name of your ship?
The Morning Star. Hit an iceberg and foundered. Of the 35 souls on board, we're the only survivors. We were on that ice for a week. God knows how you found us. It was a miracle.
Aye, you're right.
As I was passing your cabin, sir, I heard your wife call out.
Well, you take care of this gentleman, Mr. Lloyd. What you need first is a good hot grog. We'll fix you up some dry clothes after, eh?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything.
You're very welcome, sir.
Your friend's going to be all right. They tell me he's coming round.
Mary, I'll send back to the floe and pick up some ice. It'll numb the pain. There now, Mary, lass. There now. We'll get back on course and pick up a ship with maybe a doctor on board.
Sir, here's a doctor, a surgeon, one of the rescued.
Are you really a doctor?
Yes, but what seems to be the trouble?
It's the intestinal fever, I think.
I knew you would come.
We'll have you all right in no time.
You hear that, Mary?
Robert, this is the stranger. That day in the chart room. Don't you remember?
How long has she been like this?
4 or 5 days.
It was 4 days ago that I saw you.
Can you do anything for her, Doctor?
Of course he can.
Don't you worry about a thing, ma'am. I'll go get cleaned up.
Now will you believe?
Will she be all right?
Perfectly. She's young and strong. She'll be up and about in a week. Now I'll go see my other patient.
Doctor, before you go, would you please write something on this slate? The words are steer northwest.
Steer northwest? I don't understand. What?
If you please. Doctor, 4 days ago, words were written on the other side of this slate. And by nobody aboard this ship. Read them.
Well, that's what we're told happened on the sailing ship Vestris in the year 1828. Was all this the result of hallucination, of second sight? Was it mere coincidence? Well, after this announcement, I'll give you the only comment we have to make.
Gate 27, all aboard, please.
I'll call you, dear, as soon as I get there.
Well, Dad's off on another business trip.
Hello? Hello, darling. Have a good trip? The children are fast asleep. No, here they are. They want to say good night.
No matter where you go, it means so much to keep in touch by telephone.
There are many phenomena and events that baffle our imagination and understanding, strange occurrences for which there seems to be no easy, rational explanation. Certainly I don't intend to offer one for this. Perhaps in 100 years, man will be able to understand what took place in this strange legend of the Vestris, but for the moment, we can't. We brought you this story because it seemed like a good yarn and one quite worth the telling. Now let us look at our story, our true story, for next week. She was a militant pacifist. He was one of the world's wealthiest men. But she hated his work even as she loved him. When tragedy darkened his life, it was too late for her to help. But she is remembered for something that he did. See Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin in War Against War. And until it's time for that story, ladies and gentlemen, goodbye.
Join us for telephone time next week. Until then, we remain sincerely yours, the Bell Telephone System.
What you're about to see is based on an actual experience. Explain it? Oh, I wouldn't even try. But I do think you'd be interested in exploring with me that strange world that lies behind the veil. You know, it's a curious thing, but it often happens. When a young man is trying to decide what his life's work is going to be, it's sometimes a sensitive time for both father and son. Our story takes place in Europe, where Peter Wade has established a thriving air service.
Might not be your first time up, but you're over-controlling. I'm gonna check the cargo.
I'll check it.
No, you keep a heading on 145. Don't drift around to the north. Those ridges come up at you awful fast.
Oh, now don't you start to.
Look at me. 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 Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. Follow me. 135. 135. 135. 135.
Pete! Pete! What are you doing? Pete, let go. Let go, you hear? Let go. Let go. Pete! Pete!
Dad, you know the whole story.
Now, boy, it's no good bottling these things up. You know that.
There is nothing to bottle up.
I'm trying very hard to understand, very hard indeed.
Well, don't try, because you can't understand. You're not the type. You're the guy that doesn't quit until he wins.
Oh, no. Not until I win. Until I've earned the right to go on to the next thing. It's just as simple as that.
I've got to use my talent, not yours.
Just tell me one thing. Why did you deliberately head for a crash?
I can't explain that. Even if I could, you wouldn't understand it.
Are you sick? Is he? Or just plain scared?
Dad, some people are good at one thing and bad at another. I'm a washout as a flyer. And I probably can't run this company. But I can design planes.
How do you know?
Because I've got the talent, and you know it. And furthermore, I've got the desire. 2 more years of graduate school, I'll have my degree. Now, this is something that I can do. What's that for?
Tuition, books, board, room, the works. And if and when you feel you've really earned the right to go to graduate school, it'll be right there.
Dad, I'm just trying to face facts about myself. Now, is that being a quitter?
Only you can answer that. But let me tell you one thing. Doubt in any area is malignant. It grows. It can destroy anything you do.
Take the first plane to New York now.
Pete.
Dad, I'm sorry. There's a lot of other things involved. Something I just can't explain.
What? No. I can't do that. No, I can't. Wally. They're hit, I tell you. They're hit. They're out. Jump, everybody's up. No, you've got to go. Grenoble. Jump. No. That chute, you can't. Shot full of holes, no good. Wally. What? No,
Dad,
don't.
Dad.
Oh.
You all right?
Yes, I'm all right. It's the dream, that's all.
What was it this time?
Oh, nothing. Why are you still up?
Dad, who's Wally?
Who?
Yeah, you were calling out his name.
I was?
Yeah, who was he?
I don't know.
Dad, Wally died in that crash, didn't he?
Yes, of course he died. But we have to talk about it now. It's the middle of the night.
No, of course not. Good night, Dad.
Good night, boy. Well, that wasn't a very good example, was it? Only this afternoon I told you not to bottle things up. Well, now. You wanted to know about Wally Huffner. The Jerry fighters hit us. I ordered everybody out.
Where was that, over Grenoble?
No, further north, near Lyon. I went back to the waist to jump, and Wally was there.
With a useless chute.
So I gave him mine.
And he took it?
Well, I told him that I could ride the plane down safely, which of course I did.
This was after Wally jumped?
Yeah, after Wally jumped. I watched him fall. The chute didn't open.
No wonder you have nightmares.
It's not as bad as all that.
Dan, what kind of a guy was he? What did he look like?
Plain, ordinary looking. There was something about him that... Why all this interest in Wally Huffner?
Oh, it's nothing. It's you. These nightmares. Maybe you need a rest or something.
Oh, no, I'll be all right. Still going to New York in the morning?
Oh, I don't know, Dad.
Want to talk about it?
Let's talk about it in the morning. Huh?
Good night.
Good night, Dad. Noble, isn't it?
Uh-huh. What now?
Well, let's see. We were on a heading of about 145, weren't we?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, I'll take over. Please, Bill.
All right. What you doing?
There was a reflection this morning. You see anything?
Nothing.
Well, I guess I'm wrong. It's not the same now.
Huh?
You might as well go on home, huh? Okay, I'll take it. Why don't you get some coffee, Bill? It's in the back. Go on, I'll be all right.
What do you think you're doing? Open up, Pete, open up.
I'm sorry, Bill. I've got to be in here alone.
Open up.
Bill, if anything goes wrong, bail out.
Pete, you listen to me.
You might as well relax. I'm not going to open that door until...
Pete? You all right? Answer me.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Follow me. 135. 135. 135. 135. 135.
Pete, open up.
Bail out. Bail out. Bail out. Bail out.
What do you think you're doing? Case d'urgence, RLC's appel à Grenoble. RLC's appel à Grenoble. Case d'urgence, j'ai besoin de l'hélicoptère. Case d'urgence.
I've been worried to death ever since Bill came back and told me what you did.
I know, I'm sorry.
Yesterday was bad enough. But this last thing, bailing out of the mountains like that.
Do you want to know why? The reason I headed for that mountain? The reason I bailed out? I saw something in the plane. A reflection in the windshield. The reflection of a man's face.
What do you mean?
This face. That's right, Wally Huffner. And I heard his voice. It was hypnotic. It made me do what I did. All right, don't believe me. But it made me take a heading of 135.
Oh, Pete, for the love of...
Now, wait a minute, let me finish. He made me bail out. And I found something. The wreck of a B-17. With one of these on it. And inside I found this.
Parachute.
Yeah, a parachute. With a serial number on it. 01636184. Do I have to tell you whose chute this is? No, of course not. It's yours. Here, look at it. Look at the holes. 4, 5, 6 of them. Bullet holes. Well, you don't understand. You see, you told me that you were in that plane alone. Everybody else had bailed out. Dad, a man died in that crash. Carlo Manzetti.
No. Carlo Manzetti was Wally.
Wally Huffner?
Carlo Manzetti was his cover identity.
He was an intelligence agent?
Yeah. We were supposed to drop him near Torino and up it. But it's incredible. How did you find that ship?
I told you that. The point is this. You told me that you brought that ship down safely. Now, you couldn't have, not in that little valley.
I know.
Don't you see? All these things just don't add up to what you told me last night.
Last night, I was trying to protect you.
Protect me?
From further reasons for doubting yourself. My own uncertainties.
What have your uncertainties got to do with me?
You think that I took Wally's parachute. Saved my own neck at the expense of his life.
Well, it's true. You took somebody's parachute.
Yes, it was Wally's. The ship had been hit and he was badly hurt.
But not dead.
No. I killed him.
You what?
We were over enemy territory. He had orders not to be taken by the Wehrmacht, and in his breast pocket he had a capsule. He insisted that I give it to him.
And you did?
The plane was losing altitude. We were drifting in fast over those mountains. There was very little time to think. Oh, I had so many doubts and uncertainties. I even filed a false report with the OSS, saying it had been hit by flak.
What do you mean, doubts?
Maybe I should have tried harder to get Wally out of that plane.
But you said that he insisted on that capsule.
Yes, but why? Was he really afraid of recapture? Or was he sacrificing himself for me? He was capable of that.
Dad, that Italian parachute that they gave Wally, that would only hold one person, right?
Yes, and he should have had it.
But he couldn't even have pulled the rein. Not wounded the way he was. Dad, I think Wally may have helped us both. I'll leave this check here. At least for now. I may earn the right to use it sooner than you think.
So far as Pete Wade Jr. is concerned, there's no question about the apparition of Wally Huffner. He saw it. It happened. How it happened? No man can tell. I mean, of course, no living man. Won't you join me again for another journey into that unknown world that lies behind the veil? Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Tonight's story was developed from a report contained in the files of the Gloucester Historical Society. Like many others which I have come across in the course of my research, it involves happenings of which we've long been aware, but for which there are no satisfactory explanations. Captain John Elwood of Gloucester, Massachusetts, had been a long time at sea, but his first thoughts were not of his wife and his home. If they had been, perhaps none of this would have happened. Come in.
Here's the log, Captain. Everything's in order, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood.
The crew's anxious to leave, sir, and most of their wives are waiting for them on the wharf.
Indeed. The way they're behaving, you'd think we were months overdue instead of just 2 weeks.
They've likely heard of our trouble with the snakes, sir. Happy to see us alive.
Well, just the same, they'll grab their men by the ears and march them off to the paymaster before they start to kiss them.
Ah, sir, some. There are all kinds among them.
Is Mrs. Elwood out there?
Oh, no, sir. The captain's wife is too well bred to show her emotions in public.
Indeed. I want you to do something for me, Mr. Logan. I have to go to the company's office to make my report. Will you see that my gear's taken straight to my house?
I'll do it myself, sir.
That's very kind of you. Tell Mrs. Elwood that I'm fine. Be with her presently.
Aye, aye, sir.
Just put it anywhere here, Mr. Logan. I do appreciate your coming. I was so worried, what with the hurricane and reports of the plague.
Oh, it wasn't the plague, ma'am.
Oh?
Well, just a lot of poisonous snakes that came aboard while we were in Florida.
There was talk that some of the men died.
Aye, 2 seamen. 3 others were bitten, but we saved them.
It must have been a terrible experience.
We were finding snakes, ma'am, all over the ship 2 weeks after leaving the wharf.
Did the captain say how long he'd be?
No, ma'am. Just said to tell you that he'd be along, presently.
Well, best be getting his dinner.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Logan.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Good to be back, Barney. This place is more like home to me than my own house.
Hey, we missed you, John.
What's been happening while I was away?
Oh, now, let me see. The Clarowell foundered 2 weeks ago off the coast. Nobody lost. The packet from England was late again, as usual. I think that's about all. Things have been fairly quiet. Say, how about those snakes, John? When are you going to tell us about them?
As soon as I get something to wash the salt out of my throat.
Oh, yes. Bessie!
Coming! Coming!
And all of a sudden, there they were, slithering up the lines and the gangplanks like so many fiends of hell. There's hundreds of them, somebody yelled. See that they pay their passage before they come aboard, I said. Hi there, my pretty. You're the one I've missed the most since I went away.
You ought to be ashamed, taking such liberties, and you a married man.
Well, if I weren't married, would you still object?
Ask me no questions and I'll tell you no lie. Afternoon, Mrs. Elwood.
Good afternoon. I'd like a bottle of that Spanish wine that Captain Elwood favors. I think he'd enjoy it with his dinner.
Be supper, more than likely, ma'am. Club's having dinner in his honor. But I'll get it for you.
Nobody would have been hurt, but some of the fools tried stamping on the snakes with their bare feet. Excuse me, gentlemen. Are you by any chance spying on me?
No, John. I only came...
I know why you came. Go home and expect me when you see me. You may charge the spoilage to me, Captain Barney. My apologies, gentlemen. Shall we go home now, dear? You humiliate me in front of my friends. You spy on me.
I'll never do it again. But I wasn't spying, I swear it. I only wanted to get a bottle of wine for your dinner.
And the table, was that part of your affection?
I don't know what came over me. John, all the time you were gone, I missed you so. I prayed for you. And when you turned your back on me, I wanted to strike out and hurt you as I was hurt. I'm so ashamed.
Well, you should be. I'm sick of your explanations, sick of your apologies. I'm sick of you, Ruth.
No, John. Leave me something.
Ever since I married you, I've been trapped. And for what? The price of a ship that went to the bottom 3 months after I bought her.
You needn't have said that. I knew why you married me. I knew my father's money made up for the fact that you didn't think I was gay and amusing like the other girls were. I knew my friends were laughing at me because they knew why you married me. But it made no difference. I loved you. I still love you.
Oh, you're talking nonsense.
No, John. Please hear me out.
Let it alone, woman. You're digging up things that are best forgotten.
No, I couldn't bear it if it were only the money. There had to be something else. John, maybe it's not too late. Maybe we could start all over.
Oh, Ruth.
John, I'm drying up into a bitter old woman. Help me. Please. I'll unpack your things.
what's the matter?
A snake! It ain't get me!
What?
John?
It's all right, Ruth.
The snake.
He's dead. I killed him. So I've taken care of your hand, and the doctor will be here soon. I don't think we'll need him, though. I'm sure I got all the poison out.
You saved my life.
Well, there wasn't much else I could do.
You could have let me die. Why didn't you?
Don't be foolish.
But you could have. And if you had, you'd be free. No more arguments. No more trouble. You could do as you pleased. But you didn't. You saved my life. Oh, John, maybe we can start all over. Maybe.
Try to get some rest, Ruth. I'll get you something warm to drink.
It's a lucky thing you were home, John. Snake bite's a terrible way to die.
Well, she's much better now, and the doctor says for the little rest she'll be just as good as new.
You're thankful for that, I'll wager.
Oh, I can't wait to sail again. Always more trouble ashore than when you're at sea. And I can't make any money just sitting here, much as I like it.
Speaking of money, here's something that'll make you sit up and take notice. The widow Smith got a letter from London this morning. Seems an uncle died and left her £20,000.
£20,000?
Hey, he'll be a lucky man that gets her.
He could buy any ship in the harbor with that.
Too bad you're already married, John. You know, I always had a sneaking suspicion that she was partial to you. Well, drink up and let's have another one on the house. Hey, you're not still thinking of that money, are you?
Oh.
It won't do you any good. You got one wife too many. Come on, have another drink.
Oh, thank you, Barney. I don't think I will. I'm going to get back to Ruth. Ruth?
Yes, dear?
I've been thinking over what you said. Maybe what happened this afternoon is a sign for both of us. We will make a fresh start.
Oh.
By Harry, I'm going to take you with me on the next voyage. I'll fix it all up with the owners in the morning.
Oh, John, I love you for the thought. Are you sure you want me to come along?
Why, of course I do. Oh, I've been very selfish about the whole thing. Seeing new places, doing new things, and you've just been left alone here in this old house. No wonder you were unhappy.
Oh, no, it's not that at all. I love our house.
Well, you want to come with me, don't you?
Yes, of course I do. But I warn you, I'm not very good on boats.
Huh?
I get sick.
Oh, nonsense. Couple of days at sea and you'll be just like a regular old sailor. Besides, I want you to come.
John, you won't be sorry. From now on, things will be different.
Yes. From now on, things will be different. Have the carpenter repair the after-deck ladder before somebody breaks his neck.
Aye, sir.
How are you feeling, Ruth?
I'm much better, John.
Good.
I'm better.
Good. The cook's made you some more of his specialty. Another calm day like this and you'll be completely well.
I didn't mean to be such a burden to you, John. You've been very patient with me.
Oh, nonsense. I should have brought you before. You've no idea what a comfort you've been. No idea how lonely a captain's life is.
Oh, I should like to be with you as often as you'll let me.
So you shall, my dear. Don't let your tea get cold.
You know, I dozed for a while and I had the strangest dream.
Oh, I hope it was a good one.
Yes. I dreamt this was our old ship. And instead of cotton, there was money in the hold.
I couldn't improve on that myself.
We were so happy in the days when we had money, John. I find I'm thinking of them more and more since we left home. But when I'm well, things will be different, John. You'll see.
Yes, yes.
Yours!
You're not very well. You'd better come and lie down and get some rest.
I didn't mean to get sick, John.
All right.
I didn't want to get sick. I'm such a burden to you. I should have stayed home. I should have stayed at home.
Try to get some sleep.
You asked me to see you after my watch, sir.
Yes, I did, Mr. Logan. Frankly, I'm very worried about my wife's illness. You've always been handy around the sick, and, well, frankly, I thought maybe two heads be better than one.
Yes, sir.
I wondered if you'd take a look at Mrs. Elwood, too.
I'd be glad to do anything for the missus, sir, if I can.
Good. First, I thought it was cholera.
No, sir. It's like nothing I've ever seen.
Well, if she's not better in a few days, we'll lay a course for St. Augustine.
Aye, sir.
And you'll enter a full report in the log, won't you?
I will, Captain. I do hope she's better soon.
Thank you, Mr. Logan.
Are we to St. Augustine, John?
We hit some rough weather during the night. Slowed us up.
Rough weather? I didn't even feel it.
You were unconscious, I'm afraid.
We must get there soon, John.
We will, dear, we will. Now try to get some rest. I have to go up on the bridge.
Captain Elwood. Sir, we're way off our course to St. Augustine. If we don't turn now...
I'm well aware of our position, Mr. Logan. My order stands. We stay on course for Jamaica.
But I looked at Mrs. Elwood yesterday, sir. She won't last that long.
My wife and this ship are my responsibilities. She'll be alive when we get to Jamaica, I warrant it.
As you say, sir.
Get back in there.
Liar. You want me dead. Mr. Logan. Mr. Logan.
You had enough poison to kill two people. You might as well know it now. I wanted you dead, and now you will be.
You're an evil man, John Elwood. And you'll be repaid with evil. You... Oh.
John, you can't spend the rest of your life in mourning. You got too many good years ahead of you.
I miss her, Barney.
Oh, of course you do. It's only natural, but you've got to start thinking of yourself. Ruth wouldn't want you to become a hermit.
It's lonely without her.
But at your age, that can't last forever. The widow Smith has been visiting you, hasn't she?
Yeah, she's been very kind. She knows what it means to lose someone you love.
She's a fine woman, John. I think she's got her eye on you.
Oh, nonsense, Barney. I'd never think...
Oh, I'll give you a year. Nobody expects you to wait longer. And, John, it's time you got out of the house now.
Think so?
I do. We're having supper tonight in honor of a new member. Your old first mate, Logan. You've got to come, John. He'll be expecting you.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm giving you orders. Now stop acting like a lost puppy.
All right, Barney, if you say so.
I do, sincerely. Now it's time for me to get back to the club.
Why, Captain Logan, congratulations and welcome to the club.
Thank you, Captain.
I haven't seen you since the inquest. I feel I owe you an apology. You were right and I was wrong. I should have changed course for St. Augustine when you wanted me to.
Makes no difference. Now.
But it might have, and you were trying so hard to help her, you almost gave me the impression at times that you thought I wanted her to die.
Gentlemen, the food is on the table, gentlemen. Clumsy wench!
I didn't do it, sir. I didn't.
You're the only one in this room?
I didn't touch it, sir. I swear I didn't touch it. Look. It's exactly the same as when Mrs. Elwood did it. 'Twas a ghost, sir. 'Twas a ghost that did it, sir.
Stop that nonsense! 1,000 pardons, Captain. Give us 10 minutes, and in the meantime, the drinks are on the house. Now, get out, both of you. You may come in now, gentlemen. Twas the girl did it, gentlemen. Saints preserve us. 'Twas her ghost. Her ghost.
No. You fools, are you frightened by a superstitious servant girl? Barney Logan, help me, I'll show you it's nothing. You're behind this, Logan. You're trying to trick me.
Trick you into what, Captain?
You think I killed her. You're trying to trick me into saying that I did. No, I didn't. I swear I didn't. I swear I didn't.
Captain Elwood, I think you'd better leave. Aye, he finally got a ship, if you could call it that. No other master would sail her around the harbor. She leaked like a sieve, and her crew, well, I wouldn't sail with them across a mill pond. But 'twas all Elwood could get, so he took her.
Captain Barney. Gentlemen, have you heard? It's the Coverley.
The That's Elwood's ship.
Aye, her crew's just been brought into the harbor.
What happened?
Nobody knows. They say that the weather was fair and the sea was calm, and suddenly she just broke up.
But her crew was saved.
Aye. All of them, all except Captain Elwood.
It's retribution. The devil has claimed his own.
Gentlemen, the food is on the table.
There it goes. The law demands an eye for an eye. He who takes a life must be prepared to forfeit his own. But the law is man-made, and when there is no proof, the law is helpless. Captain Elwood never came to trial. Nevertheless, he was found guilty and executed. Who was his executioner? We may never know. But an unseen force that can overturn a heavy table is not to be reckoned with lightly. Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Good night. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. Our story concerns the Haney family. For over 200 years, a Haney had worked this same land. Now it belonged to John and Emma Haney. Everything considered, it had been a good life, uneventful, perhaps even dull, but it suited them. For over 40 years they had lived in the same house, and for those 40 years, the land had been good to them. Its abundance had fed them and clothed them, and helped to raise two sons, John Jr. and James. This was home. They couldn't be happy anyplace else. Their only desire was to spend the rest of the time remaining to them here. Here where they had come so many years ago as man and wife. Simple, down-to-earth people. The Haneys were not given to flights of fancy. But who is not awed and troubled in the presence of death?
Yes, John? John?
All right, I'm coming. Jamie.
Well, you going to keep me out here all night?
No. Come in, Jamie. Hi, Ma.
Jamie. Oh, Jamie.
You've changed, Johnny. Still not having any fun, are you?
Being on a farm by yourself doesn't leave much time for fun, Jamie.
John's been working awful hard, Jamie.
He would.
Old, dependable John.
Let me fix you something to eat.
No, thanks, Ma. I eat in town.
Some coffee, then, and a piece of pie?
All right. Just a small piece, Ma.
I knew you'd get here in time, Jamie. Pa's been asking and asking for you.
He has, huh? Probably wants to whale the tar out of me.
Oh, Jamie.
All right, Ma. Guess I might as well see him.
Yeah, might as well, Jamie. No use making the trip for nothing, is there?
John!
He's all right. Take his feet, Jamie. We'll get him back to bed.
Pa? Pa, it's me, Jamie. Pa? What'd you say, Pa?
Did he make much sense?
No, just mumbling.
He's been like that for 2 days now.
He knew you would, Jamie. I know he did.
Sure. Sure he did, Ma. Let's go downstairs.
Go on, Johnny. I'll be down in a minute.
How did it happen?
His horse stumbled and fell on him.
Old as he is, you think he'd have more sense.
Jamie, where have you been all this time?
All over. New York, Chicago, San Francisco. Kept moving.
For 10 years?
Well, you know me, Johnny boy.
I'm a little surprised you came back.
Johnny!
Why shouldn't I? Oh, I get it. You're still sore because I took off and you had to stay here and do the work. Well, you could have gotten out, too.
And who'd have run the farm? Or did you forget that Pa was too old even then?
All right, so hate me. But don't forget, I was only 17 years old. How much was I supposed to know?
You knew enough to steal every cent Pa had in the house.
Stop it! Stop it right now.
No, let him get it off his chest. So that's it, huh? So that's what's been griping you all these years. Well, let me tell you something. I didn't steal anything. That money belonged to me.
It did, huh? Just how do you figure that, Jamie?
You know how I figure it. Ever since I was 10 years old, Pa had me doing the work of a hired hand. Only I never got the money a hand would get. Only my food and your hand-me-down clothes. He owed me that money.
And how about me, Jamie? What was I doing all those years you were working your poor little fingers to the bone? I was having a picnic, huh?
That's your problem, Johnny boy. If you had any gumption, you'd have beaten me to the cash box.
Enough! I won't have any more of this in my house. You ought to be ashamed, both of you. Your father's dying right over your heads. You stand there fighting like animals. Jamie, I'm going to fix up your old room. When you're finished, you march yourself upstairs and go to bed. And you, Johnny, not another word. Remember, you're brothers. You just don't understand what gets into you.
Here, Ma, let me help you.
Thank you.
Tell me the truth, Jamie. Just for once. Why did you come back?
You never were very bright, were you, Johnny? All right, I'll tell you. Your telegram got to me at the right time. I'm broke. And I figured in 10 years the old man had enough time to build up another pile.
You make me sick to my guts, Jamie.
You should be standing here. Take a look at yourself, Johnny. You're only 3 years older than I am, and anybody would take you to be my father. You should be sick.
You outsmarted yourself this time, Jamie. You made the trip for nothing. If Pa dies, you don't get a dime.
I'll fix something to eat.
Nothing for me, thank you, Emma. Just wanted to see if there's anything I could do. Maybe some delay in settling the estate on account of your father not leaving a will.
He did leave a will, Mr. Atterbury.
That's funny. I was his lawyer. I didn't draw it. Well, he drew it himself.
May I see it?
Yes, sir.
Leaves everything to you, Johnny. Knowing that as head of the family, you will take care of your mother and young brother.
Johnny, I'm so glad.
Wait a minute. Let me see that.
Seems legal. Should save us quite a bit of time.
Not legal enough. I'm afraid I have a big surprise for you, Johnny boy.
What's this?
Read it.
To my youngest son, James, I leave all my worldly possessions and trust that he will provide for his mother as long as she lives, and it is my hope that he will do what is fair for my eldest son, his brother, John Jr.
And which is the legal one?
Yours is dated August the 8th, 1892. Jamie's dated July 14th, 1898. Jamie's the one that'll stand up in court. Can't imagine what he was thinking about. 2 wills.
John knew what he was doing.
I know what he was thinking. You knew his temper, Mr. Atterbury. Pa and me had a real knockdown and drag out of my wanting to enlist for Cuba. He said I'd be sorry if I went. Well?
Why all the sour faces? Ma has nothing to worry about. And you know I'll take care of you, Johnny boy.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure you will, Jamie.
Mr. Atterbury, how long will it take for all the legal stuff to clear up?
What's your hurry, Jamie?
Well, I thought I'd put the farm on the market as soon as I can.
Jamie, you're not going to sell the farm. It's our home.
Oh, no, Ma. You know I'm not cut out to be a farmer. Besides, we ought to get a good price for it right about now.
But, Jamie...
Where'll Ma go, Jamie?
Don't worry about that. I'll take care of her.
Where, Jamie?
Well, you always wanted to visit Aunt Martha in Kansas. Now's your chance.
Oh, but, Jamie, that was only for a visit. I can't imagine living any place but here.
When she gets back from a visit, what then, Jamie?
Well, Ma deserves a rest. You know, at her age, she ought to take it easy. I thought we'd get her a room for her at Mrs. Chalmers.
That's nothing but a home for old folks.
You'd like it, Ma. You wouldn't have to work anymore, and there'd be people your own age to talk to. You know what I mean, Johnny?
Sure. I know what you mean, Jamie. To get her off your hands for the rest of your life, you'd like her to sit on a porch and rot.
That's what I get for being a nice fellow. Well, this is my farm. Pa left it to me, and I'll do what I like. If Ma don't do what I want, okay, you can take care of her.
What are you doing?
Johnny!
Stop it, you two!
You hit me, you won't get a cent!
Johnny, stop! Listen to me! Jamie's right. I have been working too hard. I'm tired. You know I want to see Martha again, and when I come back, I'd like to live at Mrs. Chalmers. I think it'd be very nice.
All right, Ma. I'll be good. Mr. Atterbury, how do we go about breaking that will?
I wouldn't try that, Johnny.
Well, I don't know, Johnny. Father was of sound mind when he wrote it.
Well, how about the part about taking care of Ma? You call throwing her into a home taking care of her? You know Pa didn't mean that.
Well, there could be a chance of stopping the sale of the farm or preventing the dissipation of the assets during your mother's lifetime.
Don't you worry about Ma. I'll take care of her. You just mind your own business. Now, I'll tell you something. Get out of my house.
Jamie, he's your brother.
Then why don't he act it? He's been beating on me ever since I got here. You heard him. Now, this is my house, and I want you out of here.
Johnny, he's upset. Maybe for a little while, till he cools off.
Will you take the case, Mr. Atterbury?
Yes, Johnny. I'll take it.
All right, Jamie. I'll get out of your house. For now. Have your fun while you can.
of the estate of George Haney. Petition for order confirming sale of real property of the estate.
Ready for petitioner, Your Honor.
Ready for the contestant, Your Honor.
Very well, gentlemen, you may proceed.
May it please the court. All of the statutory facts necessary for the court's approval of the sale are alleged in the verified petition of Mr. James Haney, the duly appointed executor of the estate. The estate consists entirely of the farm which is being sold, and the price offered exceeds the appraised value. It is to the best interest of the estate to convert the real property into cash, since the executor is without funds with which to support his mother, or himself, or to meet the expenses of the administration of this estate.
Mr. O'Leary?
Your Honor.
Perhaps we can shorten the issues. Do you propose to introduce evidence that the sales price is too low?
No, Your Honor. It's our position. It's not necessary for the sale of this farm at all. Haney family have worked this property for 40 years. Profit. It's ever Haney's home. The source of her care and comfort. That's what John Haney meant to say in his will. What is your own personal reason for trying to void your father's will?
I have none.
Oh, in other words, then, if this court should declare the will invalid, you'd make no attempt to share in your father's estate?
No, sir, I would not.
Then why has this case been brought to trial in the first place?
I just want to make sure that my mother gets what's rightfully hers.
Well, now, the wording of the will's quite plain. Your brother James is to take care of your mother. Have you any doubts that he will?
I sure do.
Would you tell the court what your doubts are?
Because I know Jamie. I know how he thinks. He's a liar and a thief.
Objection.
Sustained. Mr. Haney, I must warn you that this court will not tolerate name-calling. Another outburst like that, and I will cite you for contempt.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No further questions.
Mr. Blow?
No questions.
Now, it's now nearly noon. This court will adjourn until 2:30 o'clock.
I gotta run, Ma. I got a date with a customer for the farm.
Jamie, do you have to sell?
Yes, I have to. Now don't you start on me, Ma. I had enough trouble with Johnny. I'll pick you up in time for court.
Johnny, you shouldn't be here. If Jamie sees you...
It's all right, Ma. I waited for him to leave. I won't be long. I just want to get some of my things.
Please hurry. I don't want any more trouble.
Pa!
Johnny, look in Genesis 27.
What? What'd you say, Pa?
Genesis 27.
What about Genesis 27, Pa?
Johnny?
Yeah, Ma, what is it?
Johnny, who are you talking to?
Nobody, Ma. Nobody.
I thought I heard voices. Are you all right, Johnny?
Yeah, Ma, I'll be down in a minute, Ma. Pa. Pa.
You're ready. That's good, Ma.
Yes, Jamie, I don't want to be late.
You're not in that much of a hurry.
Please, Jamie, I want to get there on time.
Okay.
Ma! Ma!
Johnny just came to get his things.
You got what you came for?
I got more than I came for. I just talked to Pa.
You what?
You're right, Ma. You did hear voices.
What's going on here?
I talked to Pa and he said, look in Genesis 27.
Genesis 27?
That's the story of Jacob and Esau, where Jacob stole his brother's birthright.
What's that supposed to mean?
That's what I'm going to find out. Where's the Bible?
Everything in this house is mine. Keep your hands out of there.
Get away from me.
Jamie! Stop!
I warned him, Ma. What's the matter, Johnny? Nothing in it? What'd you expect to find, a new will? There is no other will. And I'll tell you something else. The next time I find you in here, even Ma ain't gonna stop me from putting a load of buckshot in you. Now get out of my house and stay out.
Please go, Johnny.
Johnny boy, might as well take Genesis 27 with you. That's all you're gonna get.
Mr. Haney, much has been made of the fact that you wish to sell your farm and place your mother in what has been called an old folks' home. Would you tell the court exactly what it is you had in mind?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, my mother's worked hard all her life. As long as I can remember, she's been cooking, sewing, washing. Why, she even helped in the fields when we were short-handed. Up until now, we've never been able to do anything about it. But now I can, and I want to.
Ma, is this the family Bible?
Isn't it obvious Mr. Haney is
Didn't we
not
used to have
the
another
cruel,
Yes,
hard-hearted
your
fellow
father.
painted as attempting to make
Where
a
is it,
man
Ma?
believe?
I don't know,
On the
Johnny.
contrary, here is a devoted
In the attic,
father
I
who loves
expect.
his mother and whose only wish is to see that the rest of her days are happy ones.
Mr. Blue, are you making your summation, or do you intend to question your witness any further?
No further questions.
Mr. Atterbury? I beg the court's indulgence. The matter which has a bearing on this issue requires investigation. Might we recess until tomorrow?
I don't believe that will be necessary, Mr. Atterbury. I have heard enough and am prepared to rule. However, I will delay my ruling until noon tomorrow. If within that time you have anything to bring to the court's attention, I will receive it. In Mr. Blue's presence, of course. This court stands adjourned.
Ready, Ma?
Jamie catches you in that house. He may figure he has every right to shoot you.
I don't care. I wasn't the kind to play practical jokes. I saw him as plain as I see you.
Johnny! What if Jamie should see you?
I'm sorry, Ma.
Jonas, you know he shouldn't be here.
I know, Emma. He's just as stubborn as his father.
Where's Jamie?
I think he's in his room. Want any more trouble?
I don't plan on causing any more. But I'm going to have one more look around whether he likes it or not.
What are you looking for?
He's got some idea his father may have left another will.
That Bible passage, Ma. Genesis 27. Isaac couldn't do anything about his sons, but I think Pa did.
No, Johnny, I'm not going to let you stay.
You can't stop me, Ma. I'm going to have one more look. Yeah.
Johnny!
Never mind, Emma. Let him go. Let him take his look. Then maybe we can get him out of here before Jamie sees him.
What are you doing here?
So you figure the same way, huh, Jamie? What'd you find?
Nothing, and I told you to stay out of here.
What are you scared of, Jamie? What are you hiding?
Stay away from me! I told you to stay out of here!
I'm going to give him a couple of more minutes and then...
Kill him!
It's murder, Jamie. They'll hang you.
Johnny! Johnny!
The Bible. He's got it.
I, John Haney, hereby bequeath... You were right, Johnny. There was another will. Of a later date. Leaving everything to you. This'll stand up in court tomorrow. The reappearance of John Haney is not unique. Over the years, many such instances have been reported and documented. In fact, the event on which tonight's story is based was directly responsible for a ruling by a court of law, the only one of its kind in our legal history. Jonas Atterbury knew his law. The newfound will was presented in court the next day and accepted without delay as valid. In leaving his estate to his eldest son, John Haney had chosen wisely. John Jr. was not a vindictive man. James was given an equitable share of the estate and departed for parts unknown. And Emma Haney was content in the knowledge that the rest of her life would be spent in the home that she loved. More than that, she knew that when she died, she would rest beside her loved ones, undisturbed. For to John Haney, Jr., the land was a sacred trust, not to be passed from hand to hand, but held for his children and his children's children. Science does not as yet know all that happens to us after life leaves our bodies, but we cannot say with certainty that there is no explanation of what you have just seen. We can only assume that there may well be one. Please join me again for another journey into the world of the unexplainable that lies behind the veil. Good night. Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable which lies behind the veil. On the day our story takes place, John Prescott's problem was a very ordinary one. An automobile and the problem of getting it rolling. But as the hours passed, he found himself concerned with things not so ordinary.
Sorry. You all right?
I think so. I'll tell you more when I stop shaking. You did come around there awfully fast.
I didn't know what made me do it at the time. Now it seems like a fine idea. Trouble?
My car won't start.
Let's have a look at it. Turn it over. Battery okay? Nothing loose. Have you got gas?
I should have. This gauge kind of acts up sometimes.
As you say, gas gauges act up sometimes. Bone dry. I'll push you out of the way and we'll go get some gas.
All right. No, I'm sorry.
No harm done. A little paint from your car scraped onto mine. My fault. I'll straighten out your license plate and we'll be wrapped and ready. LK333. Meet 5H3872. That ought to serve as a proper introduction. Get in my car. I'll drive you to wherever you want to go. I'm John Prescott, Boston.
I'm Lila.
Yes, sir.
What am I stopping for?
A cocktail to settle my nerves, a little talk, a chance to get better acquainted, perhaps dinner.
You know, I can't. I have to get back to my car.
Oh, nonsense. Nothing can happen to your car. As for us, who knows?
Good evening.
Evening. Martini?
Thank you.
2 martinis.
Yes, sir.
Does he know you?
Perhaps. I used to live around here.
No trouble, no complications, no husband in the offing?
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Then let's have at it. The azure vault dares the assault of wings, and I, Icarus, am I. Thank you. To a lovely lady.
You have an easy way with words, John Prescott. A way uncommon with the Boston man.
Throwback to my great-great-grandfather, Miles Prescott.
A rider?
A ship's captain. He sailed for the Orient, but was believed lost at sea with all hands.
And was he lost?
To the family. 20 years later, he was found in Tahiti and refused to come home. That's better.
Gardenia's my favorite flower.
Compliments you, Sal. Milky white like your skin, warm like your eyes, yet so mysterious, so beautiful, it's almost unreal.
Let me talk to Morgan Debs.
Let's get out of here.
Well, I haven't finished my drink.
Please, we must go right away. Hurry, please.
What's it all about?
Later, let's just get out of here now.
Who's Morgan Debs? I heard the bartender ask for him on the phone. That's what panicked you, isn't it?
Yes, now can we please go? I'll tell you about him later.
Wait a minute. You were going to tell me something, but you haven't said a word since we left the cafe except pull in here. Now, what about it? You're in trouble, aren't you?
Yes, but there's nothing anybody can do about it.
Maybe there is. I, for instance, am quite a remarkable fellow. Tell me, who is Morgan Debs?
I can't talk about it here. Please drive away or I'll be in more trouble.
I don't see how that's possible. Look at you, you're scared to death. Now, calm down. Tell me the trouble. We can work something out together. Make up your mind to it, because I'm not leaving until you do.
All right. There's a road down the highway that leads to Lookout Point. I'll meet you there at 9 o'clock. Please be satisfied with that.
No brush off. Promise?
I promise faithfully.
All right, then. Lookout Point at 9 o'clock. You be there. I'm coming after you, Morgan Debs or no Morgan Debs.
I'll be there.
Good girl. You made it.
I said I would.
No trouble? You got your car all right? Where'd you park?
Do you mind if we sit quietly for a few moments? A great part of my life is wrapped up in memories of Lookout Point. Now I come back here as often as I can.
You're talking like a grandmother. I bet it wasn't too many years ago that you were giving the boys a bad time at high school dances.
And at college, wasn't I the one?
Is that where you met Morgan Debs?
No. Morgan's a much older man. I suppose we have to talk about him.
If I'm going to help you. And I'm determined on that point.
Then listen carefully, John Prescott. This spot, Lookout Point, was my favorite place in the world. It was here that I brought all my problems, and here that I came to celebrate my small triumphs. Then one night, something terrible happened.
Morgan Debs, you sit tight. I'll slip into my armor and go face the dragon.
Mr. Prescott?
Do I know you?
I think you've heard of me. I'm Morgan Debs.
I've heard of you. What are you doing up here?
Delivering a message, Mr. Prescott. The young lady you're expecting will not be here. She agrees with me it is advisable for you to go on your way and make no further effort to see her.
Why didn't the young lady give me the message herself?
As I said, she will not be here.
I don't know where you're getting all your information, but you're fouled up tonight. She's been here for the last 15 minutes. Lila? Lila? She was here a minute ago. What did you do to her?
Nothing. I haven't moved from this car, as you very well know.
You didn't have to. You've got a hold over her. She's scared to death of you. Why?
Steady, Charles. We have no quarrel with Mr. Prescott. Now, why don't you just drive on and forget what happened here tonight?
Why don't you tell me why I should? Now remember, Charles, steady. man can't lose a beautiful girl in the woods and just forget about her.
Even if I assure you that she's all right?
Then you do know what happened to her.
Yes, I know.
Well, please tell me where I can reach her so I can call her or send a note or send flowers. I can't just run away like this.
I'm afraid you'll have to, Mr. Prescott. Now, so far, no harm has been done. But if you persist pursuing this matter, innocent people will be hurt. Now, you don't want that to happen, do you?
Of course not. But on the other hand, I don't want to go through the rest of my life wondering what this is all about.
I'm afraid you have no alternative. Now, just drive on. I'll take care of everything here.
Put me in an awkward position.
You put yourself in an awkward position. I'm trying to get you out of it.
Yes, sir? My name is Prescott. I think I should report something that happened tonight. I was at a place called Lookout Point with a girl, and she disappeared.
Disappeared? You mean she ran away from you?
I don't know. I was sitting with her in my car when a man named Morgan Debs drove up. I got out to talk to him. And when I looked at the girl, she was gone.
Well, who's the girl?
Lila. I don't know her last name.
Did Morgan Debs know her?
He must have. After she disappeared, he told me to forget about it. If something happens to her...
Well, what could happen to her?
I don't know for sure. But I'll tell you one thing. She was afraid of him.
Did she tell you why?
She was just about to when he drove up.
That's not much, Mr. Prescott. Morgan Debs is a powerful man in this community. I can't very well question him without something a little more substantial to go on.
Isn't it enough to know that she was afraid of him?
Well, I only have your word for it. If I could talk to the girl... can't you tell me something more about her?
She was beautiful, blonde, blue eyes, drove a red sports car. Her name was Lila, and she used to live around here. You ought to be able to recognize her from that.
Sorry, I don't. Maybe she was before my time. I've only been sheriff here a year. Where are you headed, Mr. Prescott?